All right, I am now live. Welcome everyone. I will be waiting a little bit, maybe around 5 to 10 minutes here, so that we can have some people come in as people are slowly seeing the notifications on their emails, notifications on Instagram and Discord as well, which I'm actually gonna send now. Hey, Options Log, what's up? What's up? Glad to see you in here. Seems like I've never seen you before, so welcome. Thank you for joining me. Hey. Alright, so we wait at least 5 to 7 minutes before we start here. Okay, as people are getting their emails and etc. Alright, alright. Oh, you hop to my streams once in a while back on IG. Nice, nice. Well, welcome back. Glad to see you that you've made it to my YouTube channel. Hello, glad to be. Hey, I'm glad that you're here. Thoughts on XPEV? Well, I will get right to that, but actually, I was looking at XPEV today since I was looking at all the Chinese, well, main Chinese EV auto names. So I will make sure to go over that. So, also, if you have any more names to look for, please submit them. I'll put it here. Let's pin this. There we go. Welcome everyone, welcome. All right, so we're gonna be starting in about 3 minutes here. All right, so 7:05. Oh, welcome, Sean. Glad to see you back. You're always here. Love it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. NVIDIA for you. Okay, perfect. NVIDIA is actually something that I wanted to go over as well, since semiconductors were pretty strong today. A select few, though. Okay, so I'll tell you guys which ones I was looking at today during market hours. An options log, yes, QUEB. That's actually an ETF that I used to look at for overall Chinese market sentiment. But also I look at the Hang Seng or Hang Seng Chinese markets overnight as well when they open. But yes, thank you very much. Hey, O'Brien, welcome. You didn't miss anything. We have a minute or so before we start here, so you did not miss anything at all. You didn't miss anything there. All right, we have about 20 seconds here before I start. Waiting a few more people. Just a few more here. Seems like we are getting the people right now, and people are getting the emails. No email notifications if they're subscribed to my channel that I am live. All right, perfect. Exactly. Almost. Well, yeah, let's just start. We'll start right now. Okay, it's 7:05. Perfect. Perfect timing here. Okay. All right, so let's go over SPY here, the overall markets. All right, so what I am looking at the overall markets. So today we had some important numbers come out. Consumer Price Index, right? And if you guys remember my past live on Monday, I did say when I'm on Wednesday if the CPI numbers come out high, which I already said is going to be expected to be high. I mean, if you guys aren't living in the U.S., or you guys should already know that inflation has been really kicking everyone's asses. As every goods and services have been going up and up and up and up, making the U.S. dollar, the U.S. dollar's value a little lower, right? As inflation is increasing the prices of everything. So as inflation rises, okay, the one primary thing that I'm going to be looking out for, I've already told this to my C.F.O Streaming Watch subscribers a few weeks back, is that the Fed is going to try to deflating these prices, and what they're going to do to incur that is they're going to increase interest rates. All right, and so if you increase interest rates, that's going to let consumers spend less, right? They're going to start saving more, because if you have higher interest rates, your savings rates go up, and so the money in your savings account, right? And that's going to be good for banks, okay? And so, specifically for your savings accounts that you may or may not have, for all the money that's in there, right? So people are going to start saving more, which will also equate to people are going to start spending less, right? And so you might say that, well, doesn't that mean that's going to not stimulate the economy, right? Well, that's the thing. The Fed has been bolstering up the economy and pushing the economy to have consumers spend more so that the economy comes back onto track. And so now that they see that they've already done this, right? So they feel like, okay, we have we've been buying government bonds, right? We've been buying debt securities, and we've been helping the economy up. And so what they're going to do now is they're going to start tapering. They're going to start to slow down the buying every single month, right? Because of the fact that they've helped the economy come back to where it was before, pre-COVID, right? Pre-COVID lockdowns and etc. So it all comes to full circle, right? So they're like, okay, now we're going to stop buying, and now we're going to start looking to increase interest rates. So now, since we know that inflation is back to or it's at a target where the Fed wanted it to be, they're going to start to go back on lowering their purchases of government bonds. So they're going to start tapering, and then they're going to look to start increasing rates. Okay, and so they're wanting to deflate prices. Okay, it's called deflation from inflation. So it's basic economics, right? If you guys haven't, was in economics class, right? It's basic high school economics class that you guys should have taken, right? If you guys had economics class, obviously, right? But that was years ago for me, so I still remember it. It's basic economics, right? You guys can also Google this as well. Okay, now when I did say one thing about the CPI was that if inflation numbers are high, I'm going to be looking at gold. And guess what? Inflation numbers came out 5:30 a.m. and gold was already up pre-market. And then today we saw a huge amount of money come in for gold, GLD. That's the ticker symbol. And so gold here is making a pretty nice flag here. If I go on the weekly time frame, since the run it has since late 2018 here. Okay, and now from 2020 to 2021 currently, we're making a nice descending channel here. Okay, but obviously this is also called a broadening channel because of the fact that well, we have two trend lines that are kind of moving away from each other, right? So for channels, if you want to see a perfect channel, we want to see two parallel trend lines going downward, and they will never meet if you go in an infinite amount of line that I draw here. Okay, so no matter how long the line goes, they'll never meet, and that's what basically constitutes a descending channel. So with this in mind, right, this overall big picture, okay, we will eventually have to break up above a key level of resistance around 170 to around 171. All right, and if you break above that, we will be coming right back to this descending level of resistance on gold. Okay, which should be around 172.50 to 173 by the time we arrive there. But obviously, we can also arrive somewhere on this trend line around maybe here, which will be around 169 to 170-ish. Okay, so that's going to be kind of my predictions for gold using technical analysis there. But with that in mind, I'm going to continue to watch out for gold. But you know, if some of you guys who were on the live on Monday, if you guys followed what I told you guys to watch out for, gold should have been one of your plays that you guys should have been watching out for today on Wednesday after the CPI numbers came out. But I told you guys already that I was already going to expect high CPI numbers, and that should also make gold go up. Okay. So congratulations if you guys played that. Okay, so let's go back to SPY, overall markets. So SPY, very interesting, right? On the 2-hour time frame, let's take a look at this. So like I've been saying, right, on Monday's live, if you guys didn't catch Monday's live, it's the most recent video, so I can not repeat myself. So make sure you guys rewatch that stream that I did on Monday. So as you guys already know, I'm looking at this descending level of resistance. We popped out of it last week, okay? But as you guys can tell, right, we weren't able to stay above it, and we actually filled the gap that we made on Monday, last week, on Thursday, and on Friday we got a nice sell-off, okay? And so now, after that gap that was filled in, we continued to go lower. And that kind of surprised me because I actually wanted to see 435 stay as a new level of support. But instead, we went below. However, there's low volume when we're going below. All right. And so this told me that the price is ready to kind of conform to the price range that was formed last week. And what was the price range that was formed? Well, first off, we had a huge major support level around 431. And obviously there's a bigger support level at 427 to around 426-ish. All right, I will say that's like a kind of a broader area that you wanted to see price hold, but specifically 427. And so I kind of did not want to see the price fall below 427 because, well, obviously if it fell all the way down to 427, that means there's going to be a higher probability that we will break below 427 and keep on heading lower and lower and lower, making new lows. And obviously I don't want to do that, or I don't want to see that because, well, I'm bullish for the long term. So, yeah. So anyways, we saw support, okay, yesterday around 431-ish, okay, which is also our next level of support. And then we kind of, suddenly boosted right back up around the morning hours today, right back above 433 here. Okay, and so this surprised me because we saw a lot of selling volume come in yesterday right before close, but we're kind of unsure because the markets were waiting for CPI numbers, right? So whenever major economic news comes out, right before it comes out, the market is very indecisive. But usually, important numbers like CPI, the market kind of starts selling off historically, but usually it doesn't really get anywhere. So for now, we are now conforming back to a level of support around 433 and then level of resistance around 435. So we're right back to this range that we formed last week and last week as well. So I'm going to expect some consolidation forming around here for the next 2 to 3 days, and eventually either this week or next week we should see a breakout above this decent level of resistance, since we've been revisiting this level of resistance 2 times now here. Okay, I'm not going to say that these touches here as these official touches back to the resistance, because, well, this wasn't a part of the sell-off here. Okay, this is where we sold off majorly here. Okay, this is where we had that major sell-off. So when we had this major sell-off and then bounce right back up, this is my first official touch of this descending level of resistance, because this tells me that the price is staying at this level of resistance and it's using this as a significant level of resistance as well. All right, so if we have this third touch soon on this level of resistance, we should be able to break out. Why do I think that? Why do I think there's a conviction that we can break out? Well, because last week, all right, we broke out of it. We just couldn't sustain staying above this level. So on the third try here, we should be able to break up because of that third touch golden rule. All right, I always speak about that in my lives here. So if you guys don't know what that is, go back to my previous lives, because I at least say it one time, at least once. Okay, so make sure you guys are watching out for those levels. Pretty clear levels there for SPY. So, you know, SPY has been giving us very good day trading levels there. All right, options log. Let's look at your first name. XPEV. So XPEV, I was actually looking at this name, and it broke out perfectly above this descending level of resistance that I was looking at. And so XPEV is making a descending triangle here, which tends to be usually skews towards a bearish breakout. And it did, in fact, right here. So 37 was our line in the sand, our major support for this descending triangle. We kind of chopped around 37, and then we eventually broke down all the way to 34. Okay, and then we saw some support happening around 34-ish, and eventually we bounced up, making this, okay, our double bottom here. All right, and then we started to break out immensely. All right, XPEV has been moving a lot better than NEO. NEO is a position that I've been in, and I've been saying publicly that I'm in since right here. Okay, so I believe I got in right here, and I got in again here, and I also got another position right here on this candlestick. So I'm there then 3 times over. So I'm pretty much leveraged in for NEO. I want to catch a big move on this name, since I've also got that backing from Goldman Sachs that NEO is now upgraded to a buy, and that they see a 66% plus move for the next few months, probably half a year or more than a year. I don't know what their time frame is, but I think approximately around 6 months to 12 months. So let's see how that goes. So XPEV today moved a lot better than NEO, as obviously as you guys can see. So NEO, XPEV here has been having solid sales in China with their electric vehicle, but NEO is obviously the front runner in this sector here. But XPEV, I believe options like you did say you like this long risking 36.50 area. 36.50 would be yeah, so I wouldn't say 36.50 would be a nice area for your stop loss, because that's going to be that's already inside. So if prices go below 36.50 or below 37 here, which is our crucial level of support, and then they start coming lower and lower and start entering 36.80ish, that's going to be inside this gap up. So what's that going to be telling me is that the price is filling in the gap. And whenever the price fills in the gap for any stock, that tells me that sellers are mostly in control. It's the opposite for the market though. Okay, so the market tends to fill in the gap, whether it be a gap up or gap down. I've said this multiple times in my previous lives as well. But the market tends to fill in the gaps, whether it be a gap down or gap up, and it continues to form a trend, wherever it be, whatever it be. But for stocks, if it starts to for example, right here, if it starts to fill in the gap to the downside here, that means sellers are most likely going to be in control. So I would not think 36.50 will be a good stop loss area. Most likely 37 will be your good stop loss area. So around 36.80 should be your stop loss area, not 36.50. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so obviously XPEV, the entry is already gone. All right. My preferred entry on this name, if I was alerted, if I was looking at this name before it made this big move up, would be around 38.10. Okay, and then if you guys wanted to see a more confirmed entry, the confirmed entry would be around 38.50. Why? Well, if you take a look at the weekly time frame, last week's high was 33.52. Right, and so I want to see a break above this week's highs, okay, or take a little bit of a riskier risk by entering in at 33.50 or getting a confirmed entry around 33.55. Sorry, not 33, 38.55. All right, so that would have been my entry there. If you guys want to see a more confirmed entry by getting in at a higher high from last week. Okay, so what I'm going to expect for XPEV is that we're kind of starting to want to pull back here, and most likely we're going to pull back to the 200 SMA on the 2-hour time frame. Why? Well, because I've seen that happen multiple times. All right, and also we're a little bit overbought here, and well, the RSI confirms it here. So we can also have a double top on the RSI right there. So we can have one final push up tomorrow morning. Okay, I can see an outside candlestick forming like this. Tomorrow morning, a little tiny push for the FOMO buyers. All right, and then they're going to sell right away. And we're going to start a nice, either maybe a flag formation or just a nice overall consolidation happening. Okay, so watch out for that tomorrow. We can see a nice bounce around, I would say around 39, around 38.80ish to as well. 38.80ish to around $39 will be a nice bounce entry if you guys want to get in. Or we can see a complete breakdown to the downside, eventually letting the 10 and 21 catch up, and we might touch 38 again to retest this previous level of resistance and bounce off of it, making it into new support. All right, so watch out for that. And welcome, Joel. Glad to see you back in this live. I know you attend every single live, so thank you. Ryan, you said probably fill the gap by next week. This gap or this gap? Because it can, I mean, if it wants to, it can fill this little tiny gap here. But at the same time, if we break below this decent level of resistance, we can most likely reject off of it again and go lower, break this level of 37, which is our crucial support, and then start filling this gap that we've had here. Okay, so if we break below 37, I will start to look bearish for this name. Okay, Sean, let's look at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, okay, on the 2-hour time frame already, it looks good to me. All right, so for NVIDIA, okay. Okay. Am I back? Can everyone hear me? Alright, I think we may be back if I don't jinx this. Alright, well, to the people who are still staying here. So, for NVIDIA here, I'm looking at 210 as the breakout area here. So, with NVIDIA, this kind of reminds me of Roku today, where we had that huge resistance around 325, and then we broke out of that with good volume, with increasing volume actually. And so I'm going to expect something like that to happen with NVIDIA as well. All right, so NVIDIA should be having a good breakout if it breaks above 210 with increasing volume, not decreasing volume, but it will have a heavy level of resistance around 212.50. Okay, Sean, I hope you're still in here. All right, so let's look at JD. The Chinese names have been seeing a relatively good bounce so far, but the only thing that I'm not liking about Chinese names and their bounces is that they bounce too quickly, right? So they don't have enough of steam, right, to have a prolonged long-term bounce. Instead, they have these really big short-term bounces that loses steam. But I think we might be seeing a overall bounce on every single Chinese name. Well, generally all the Chinese names, all the big tech private company Chinese names, not the ones that have been completely destroyed by the government. But for example, JD, it's a solid company. It's a the next competitor to Alibaba, right? But JD here, I think we're gonna see some a loss of steam in the next few days or so as we come back down to 77.50, which should be our next solid level support where we can start consolidating. All right. Okay, Joel, I think you're still in here since you're the only one that said yes. So hopefully if you're in here, let me do your name next. Okay, so Microsoft is one of those names I don't like to have, but it is a good name for long term. Just because of the fact that Microsoft is, it's a name that tends to move sideways too much, right? But as you know, obviously this year Microsoft decided to finally have a huge breakout. Looks like one of those typical growth tech names, like Apple, where it tends to move bigly in one direction, because I mean this is very unusual action for Microsoft. For example, like right here, right? Like all of these are kind of unusual moves for Microsoft. Microsoft tends to move very slowly in one direction, whether to the downside or to the upside. So Microsoft, it's proving that it's kind of changing here with its price action and volume, and the fact that it's looking to kind of act like an actual tech growth name. Okay, so the levels I'm looking at for Microsoft here, the same thing. It looks like the same thing like NVIDIA and all the big tech names, because they follow the overall market broadly speaking there. So For Microsoft, I'm going to expect to see a break around 297, but most likely I want to see a confirmation break above around 298. That will be our confirmed breakout area. And then we have a level of support around 294. So if we reject off of resistance around 297-ish and we come back down, we can chop around 293, 294-ish like this before we see a nice breakout up above. All right, so that's basically it for Microsoft. But overall, it's looking like it's following the same bigger picture market price movement. So that should be something that you guys all should be watching out for, especially SPY and QQQ. Okay, QQQ is specifically the tech name ATF there. So if you're looking at Microsoft, take a look at QQQ as well. Okay. All right. So it seems like most people have left already since the Wi-Fi problem has persisted for a bit, for at least 5 to 7 minutes. So it's already past 30 minutes here, so I will be ending this live. But Joel, I will see you in the Discord tomorrow. So I hope you're a little bit more active on the Discord tomorrow. I know you linger here and there, but I hope to see you in the Discord, back on Discord again. Okay, have a great rest of your night. I will see you guys on Friday.